you enjoy the video exercise you're about to watch. And if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact.
So the horse I'm going to use in my video exercise is called Cool Rock Coolie, also known as Roxy in the stable. He's a beautiful looking horse, around 16.3, and he's just turned 8 this year. He is owned by my wonderful sister and her husband Jamie, and he has a massive support group, as you can see. He has just stepped up to intermediate level last year and did his first 3-star at the end of the year at Thoresby Park. He's relatively experienced to be doing this exercise, but nevertheless, it's still brilliant for him and me to be working on the basic scales of training and his rideability. So in this exercise, I have laid out 3 cavalettis, or very small jumps, just higher than placing poles off the ground. And there's 3 strides between them, which is 12 steps. I start every training session with the big warm-up for about 15-20 minutes sometimes. The older horses might take a bit longer as they're a bit stiffer through their bodies and they need more time to get supple and work properly through their back. I find it extremely important to make sure your horse's muscles are all warm, and it gives them the best chance to reduce injury in the future. It also helps to make sure both horse and rider have a chance to get their brains engaged before they start anything complex or difficult. So as you can see here, I am just trotting in a nice relaxed rhythm between these 3 cavalettis. I'm making sure that he's got the inside bend round each turn and he's staying in front of my leg and he's keeping very straight. So you've got to make sure you don't lose the outside shoulder here on the turns, and their contact is staying nice and even between each rein, and they're staying nice and light and forward towards the bit. I've then started to pick up the canter and I've gradually moved towards the exercise, going in canter around the fences. If your horse is not established with canter, I would recommend staying on one rein and doing a circle round each cavaletti and then changing the rein true trot and going back to the other true lead. So I'm trying to keep Roxy nice and straight here and even in both reins on the short diagonal before keeping a slight outside flexion to the left on the turn around the cavaletti to make sure it's easier for him to remain on that left canter lead. Before here, making sure he is straight again and not losing his outside shoulder on the turn, and then finishing off another straight line before a little break before we start jumping. The aim of this exercise is to work on the adjustability of the horse and their canter by changing the different amounts of strides between the cavalettis. I start off by making sure I have a nice regular rhythm and a good quality canter, which should make an easy 3 strides between the cavalettis. It might take you a few attempts to get your horse settled and for them to understand the question and what you're asking, so just take your time and just let them work it out slowly. If your horse starts to rush, then do a simple transition down and a circle to get them back on their hocks and listening to you. Riders also can't forget about their own position, so make sure you keep your weight evenly in both heels, keep soft light hands at all times, even if the horse is slightly rushing through the contact, and try not to fold your upper body over the cavaletti, so keep a fairly straight back and allow the horse to do the work underneath you. As you can see now, Roxy is very relaxed and finding the 3 strides easy, and has now stopped changing the leg over the cavaletti, meaning my quality of canter probably wasn't quite right, as he was stretching to keep the 3 strides in the rhythm that I had. I am now aiming to add another stride between the cavalettis to get Roxy to condense his canter and sit further on his hocks. But as you can see at the beginning, he took some time to work out what I was asking him to do, so I had to make sure I kept a clear aid on what I was asking, but also keeping soft hands to allow him to keep travelling and not completely restrict his canter. These exercises are both mentally and physically tiring for the horse and also for the rider, so make sure you include lots of breaks and never overdo it. You can always come back the day after or a couple of days after, and it gives the horse some extra thinking time in their stable, which sometimes I think is actually quite beneficial. So this time around, as Roxy is quite established, I started playing around with condensing the canter over the first 2 cavalettes to get 4 strides, and then I opened up his frame to get 3 strides to the final one. This change of rhythm really highlights how good your adjustability is, which will put you in good stead in any competition environment. If your horse has a large or short stride, it will make you more aware, so when you're walking the jumping courses, it will make you conscious on how to ride related distances. For example, if the distance walks along 5 strides for you, and your horse has a slightly smaller stride, then you know the tempo and rhythm has to be slightly more forward and upbeat, so you will need to develop more engagement and power on the turn towards the fence. So I finished off the training exercise with quite a fun challenge to see if any of you can add 2 strides into the level 3 strides distance. I think Roxy thought it was a lot of fun.